Knowing who you're going after, what matters to them, and what can help you to get more people like them is critical. Most of us, however, don't necessarily know who we're selling to. In this conversation, Ronnell Richards and I are going to talk about that specific thing. And he's got a framework that I think can really work. Actually, I know it can work for you. Some of these questions made me start scratching my head at the end. So good. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, I have the one and only Ronnell Richards. And today we're going to be tackling the ICP, your ideal customer profile. Now, he comes with a wealth of knowledge, not only as an individual contributor that's done it. He comes as an entrepreneur. He comes as a business, as a coach, comes as a guide, comes as an author, comes as a content creator. He comes with a lot of insights, not just theory about how you can go about doing this. And one of the strategies we started talking about, what you'll see when we dive into the episode, around these 37 questions. We don't go into all of those questions, but we go into the discussion around how these questions has not only helped his clients that he's been working with on a roadshow recently, but it also can help you. Now, if this is your first time listening to our show, whether you're an individual rep or you're a sales leader, come back, subscribe, because I'm going to give you content like this that will help you not only improve your sales game, but help you to be able to do the best you can to make more money. Sound like the army. But I want you to go ahead and subscribe to that. As we dive into this episode in particular, listen to what he starts to share when it comes to the ICP, why it's so important, and how we can go about attacking and addressing this problem once and for all. Check it out. Ronnell, welcome to the show, brother.
Donald, I'm happy to be here, my guy.
I'm excited to be able to have this conversation because, you know, as sales reps, one of the things that I've learned early on, I worked for a company where we didn't necessarily have our ICP down. We thought we could sell to everyone, and it was one of the most horrific experiences, but I did gain a lot of insight from it to help me later in my career. I want to dive into that with you today, and I want you to talk about that. First off, why? ICP, for those who don't know, ideal customer profile. Hopefully you know that if you're here. But why is this so critical to be able to get at the very jump?
All right, Donald. So I'm going to go a couple of different directions on this, man.
I'm ready. I got book. Hold on, let me get the seatbelt.
Let's go. Lock it in. All right. So, you know, one of the things that you mentioned is that company that you worked for that didn't have a strong ICP. Here's the reality. I work with lots of technology companies, and most of them don't. Dang. Most of them don't have a strong ICP. And I think that part of the reason that they don't is they feel that it is now in saying they feel this way, they haven't actually done the work to know this, but this is just something that's deep in the recesses of their brain, not just the companies, but the salespeople that work for them. They look at ICP as something that's limiting, right?
Interesting.
Whereas you and I know that it's actually the key to explosive growth, especially in a world where we are competing for relevance, Donald.
Yes.
We're competing not just with people that sell the products that we sell. We're competing with people that man, you know, I'm gonna give you a great example here. Is if you guys were to look at my office right here, you'd see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screens. I've got this phone over here. I don't happen to have my iPad in here, but usually I've got my iPad as well. So my attention is constantly being pulled from different areas, right?
Yeah.
And so if we look at that just in terms of as a consumer, right, everything that's pulling at us, it's the same thing in the business world, right? So if we are not speaking specifically to our guy or our gal, we're missing out on an opportunity to really be successful, right? And it's more, and these are things, Donald, that we know, but it's something that's more important today than it ever was. That's why I draw the comparisons to, you know, just my current environment. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Sure.
So I'm gonna flip it on the interviewer. So, what's your favorite television show?
Right now.
You already said it, right? Right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many of them that I'm in the queue. All right, so I will probably go with I'm watching Reacher. Let's go with
You're going with Reacher today.
How do you
watch Reacher?
On my phone.
Okay. Is that the only way that you watch it?
as far as like displaying physically,
Hmm.
like that is the only way that I watch the phone or watch Reacher right
And
now.
where do you watch Reacher? Is it just in your? Is it in your
Yep.
bed, in your office? Where do you
It's
watch it?
usually winding down at probably not much white. Like if I have I put my kid down to bed, and then I get a little bit of time, and my wife is probably watching reels at that point before we start, night prayers and stuff like that. But that's what I'm doing some doing a little bit of time there, or I'm probably doing dishes and I'm finishing cleaning up the kitchen. I'm the cook in the family, so cleaning up the kitchen. I have Reacher or one of my shows, and I'll put it up on display right there.
Wow. Okay. So convenience.
Yeah,
Donald, if I were to ask you that same question 15 years ago, I'd say, hey, what's your favorite show? I don't know. You probably can't remember because none of us can. 15 years ago might as well be 50
Boy
years
Meets
ago.
World. 15 years ago. That's still way before Boy Meets World, right?
Let's say that it
Yeah.
was the
15 years.
Jack Bauer show. What's the name of that show?
Let's go. Is Walking Dead 15 years old? Can we
Oh
go
my
for that?
God, almost.
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 Almost
Little
early.
little note for your audience. My
Yeah.
mother is an actor and she was on season 4. So make
She
sure you
was?
check her out. She was. Okay, so
Oh.
so here's my point. We're gonna go back to The Walking
Yeah.
Dead, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say it was The Walking Dead 15 years ago, which I don't think it's quite that old.
No.
But let's just say that it was, okay? And when you watch Watching Dead, you knew that it came on Sunday at 9 and you watched it every Sunday at 9, right?
Yeah.
This is how we did things back in the day.
Yeah.
Today we are in a world of convenience, right? Like I just asked you what your favorite show is. You're like, well, today.
Yeah.
That might change tomorrow. How
Yeah.
you watch it changes. The bottom line is that it's about convenience, right?
Yeah.
And so as business sellers, we have to think about that, right? And what is requiring us to do is to be more specific in our messaging, more specific in our outreach. Otherwise, we're going to get lost in the noise that is life. So that's why, again, it is so much more important to understand who your ICP is, right? And make
Yeah.
sure you're not only focusing on them, but you're speaking directly to them. You're using their language. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in the minutia. And I'm going to tell you, Donald, my approach to ICP is, man, I'm an ICP ninja, man. I'm going in super deep with
So
ICP in ways that people don't think about. You see, when that model was created, I don't know exactly when it was. I'm going to say probably 20, 30 years ago
yeah.
when we started working on ICP models and avatars, whatever you want to call it. They were super analog, very binary, right? It's like basic demographic information, right?
Yeah.
Of someone who could potentially buy your product. And yet, here we are 2-3 decades later. Most people are doing the exact same thing when they put together their ICP model. And we live in a world where we're inundated with data. Everyone's giving us data, right?
Yeah.
But yet, when I talk to companies about, hey, let's talk about who your ICP is. First of all, they, to your previous point, they say it's everyone. And if they're doing a little bit better, they will have a defined, industry and maybe a target decision maker in industry, something like that.
So
I will say that is elementary. Like, we should be going so much deeper today. There's so much more data. So I did these road shows a week ago, Donald, and I put
mhm.
our attendees through a 37 question ICP model.
So with you mentioned something earlier. I put a little note
Yeah,
down about it, and I think this is when you go into discussing this part. I think I want to see if you can put it there. You made a distinction at very jump around strong ICP.
yep.
So I anticipate this year, and you can again never assume. So I want you to go deeper and explain what's the difference between a strong ICP and an ICP. Is that ICP like that linear stuff we're talking about versus going deep with the 37
I'm
questions?
glad you asked because I'm getting there. Here we go.
Oh,
All right.
oh.
So
You did that purposely then. You had me on the edge of my seat this whole time, sitting here freaking writing down about strong ICP.
I'm a storyteller, brother. You got to build it up. All right.
Let's go.
So
Let's go.
so this, when I was working with all these tech founders, the ICP modeling that I put them through is it's 37 questions, right? And I say, hey, listen, let's take your very best customer, and I want you to answer these 37 questions about them. the whole purpose of that is to identify all of these different through lines and connective tissues that we have with our very best customers, which
Yeah.
end up being way deeper than just their industry that they're in and their job title, right? You'll
Yeah.
find all this awesome alignment, like, hey, maybe they have kids that are a certain age, maybe they're into sports, maybe we have there's all these different things that we uncover when we do the work to identify our ICP beyond just that basic analog information. Because for most of the people that are going to be watching or listening to this, they don't need, 100 new customers next month. They
Mm-mm.
need 3. So if you need 3 new customers, I need to focus my energy and my efforts on finding those people that I have the very best alignment. Okay, so let me bring you back to the ICP. When I'm talking about ICP, I'm talking about great alignment. So great alignment isn't just about, hey, this person can potentially buy my product. No, it's the people that you can crush it with. And so when I go through this modeling, it's about identifying the people that not only you can crush it with, but are great for you and your business, right?
Yeah.
People that you have the personalities mix, the revenue makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and every entrepreneur has made the mistake, and every salesperson has made the mistake of selling to someone that they shouldn't have sold to,
Come on, stop
right?
talking about me like that,
And
bro.
and you end up finding that it is, yeah, first of all, it becomes a very difficult situation, but you end up losing money ultimately. So when I'm talking about high alignment, I'm talking about people that you can crush it with, right? In terms of exceeding expectations, but you also crush it financially. It's got to be a win-win. It's a
Yes.
win. It's a win for you and it's a win for them. So some of this stuff, when I talk about it, Donald, it sounds like, yeah, duh, no brainer, but it isn't. You got to actually do the work to uncover it. One of the coolest things when I go through this process with people and talking about the ICP and doing the ICP modeling that I hear, and it's usually the first thing when I say that to the people that are in the workshop, I'll say, what did you, how was that experience? What'd you think? One of the first things they always say to me, Donald, is,
Hmm.
I don't know my customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So when you do this work to uncover all of that great alignment, now what that helps you to do is to put together a real scalable model, right? Of people, individuals that you should target. Because here in 2025, we don't have to be so analog.
Yeah.
We can distill that avatar down. And I actually don't love the term avatar or ICP. So when I'm going through this whole process, I usually call it something like TED, because I want it to be humanized,
Yeah.
right? I'm doing business with Donald. I'm not
Yeah.
doing business with an avatar.
Yeah.
And so, when you do this work, that's part of the process. That's part of what we're doing. We're humanizing our ICP, right? And then that's allowing us to better target who's going to be a good fit for us.
That humanization part is critical. I've been seeing that with so much with our prospecting and the content that we share around that. But when it comes to the ICP, that part becomes so much more important. I did a post purposely, Ronnell, on LinkedIn, and it's called "I'm Not Just a Sales Guy," and it's one of my featured posts. I did it purposely, and I cannot tell you how many times people go look at my profile and I see engagement on that post,
Mm-hmm.
because it's most people, when you go in a search right now, you and I show up in a search. I mean, you should probably show up in like 10,000 searches today, or 100,000. But they'll see a dude. They'll just see us as individuals, and they'll automatically try to put us in a bracket to say that this person is a prospect, they're a CEO, they're a podcaster, or whatever. But they put
No
you in
doubt.
a particular bracket, and that's what it is. But when they dig deeper, they see that you're human. It makes a difference. And I can tell you the reason why I did that post was from my side, because I would see like VPs of sales, and I would see them as a object. That's a
Mm-hmm.
VP of sale lead. But when I started looking at them and seeing that is Megan, and she has, X amount of people on her team, and she's trying to achieve this level, and she has a family, and she has issues and she's working late. Like when I started seeing that stuff, it made a difference in the way that I approach Megan
Yep.
rather than just send out an email or Megan didn't answer my call. Megan didn't reply to my email. Well, dang it. I'm not the most important thing in Megan world right now. Is there a better way that I can grab Megan's attention?
Now think about this, Donald, that same process that you used in
Yeah.
really humanizing Megan. Think about if you're, now before I say this, when I started my career many decades ago, we were limited to who we could sell and where we
Yeah.
could sell, right? And so I had to kind of be a little bit more homogenous in my approach. Today, I can sell globally. Most of us can sell globally, or if we can't sell globally, we can sell nationally, right?
Yeah.
It's not just your little local area. So if that's the case, why wouldn't I take the time to find not just Megan, but find Megan's that, or Tim's, or whoever it is that I've got a great potential connection with. By connection, I mean that not only are we uniquely qualified to serve them in terms of from a product standpoint, but there's other alignment. You've got a beautiful little boy. Maybe
Yeah.
it's someone that's also at that stage in life. Here's why this stuff is really important, guys. I am now 26, 27 years into my career. I do business today with people that I did business with 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Now here's how that doesn't happen just by happenstance. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of great alignment. So when I'm talking about ICP and I'm talking about putting in the work to uncover, to discover who your ICP is, as salespeople, this is not just a corporate thing. You should be doing it individually, because there are people that you're going to have better connection and better relationships with than others. The name of the game, ladies and gentlemen, is relationships. The reason why I can do business with someone that I did business with 2 decades ago is because we had terrific alignment and grew a relationship from that. Now, conversely, when I first started my technology sales career, I worked for a company called McLeod USA.
Yeah.
I was not good at building relationships. I was great at selling, and then I moved on. I cannot sell today. I can't sell anyone that I sold to back then. I can't do business because I had zero focus on alignment. I had zero focus on relationships. It was all about transactional selling.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, fortunately for me, I learned that lesson. Now, I learned it the hard way, but I learned it, no doubt. And so now I'm able to benefit from that. So when I'm talking to salespeople and getting into doing this work, what I want you all to understand is that this is in your best interest. This ain't about your company. This is about the company of you. This is about the jersey. This is about the name on the back of your jersey. If you do this sort of work, if you focus on building deep relationships, which starts with great alignment, because I don't care. Like, you can be interested in building a relationship all you want. If you don't have that great base alignment of values and those sorts of things, you're probably not going to be successful in building a deeper relationship with that person. Now, if you do that, you do the work, you start to create that relationship, you deliver on your value, and it's mutual value. What you're going to find is 2 decades from now, there's a lot of people that are going to be doing business with you, or that you can call on at a moment's notice to do business with you or to refer you because of the work that you did early on. So when I'm talking about ICP right now and why I'm so bullish on it, Donald, is that it's harder than it ever was. It's easier to have access to people, but it's harder than it ever was to establish that level of what we'll call trusted advisor, or the one that, it's earning that sort of level of relationship and commitment with people. Again, going back to my original point, because the competition is so steep and we're competing for relevance all the time. So if we're in a world where there's tons of competition for relevance, we have to be the most relevant person. You're going to be the most relevant person to the people that you bring the most value with. I'm going to share one more quick little thing with you.
Let's go.
So when I started my career, I started in retail jewelry, and we were taught the 3-11 rule. The 3-11 rule, it goes like this. If a customer has a terrific experience with you, they're going to tell 3 people, right? You knocked it out the park. If they have a bad experience, they're going to tell 11,
Dang.
right? So there's negative bias, right?
Yeah.
That was then almost 30 years ago. Now, today, I would submit to you, again, because of the environment that we're playing in, is that it's not 3 to 11 anymore. It's probably 1 to 11. Just because of, again, relevance and stimuli. We got all this stimuli coming in all the time. Dude, you make a new video every day. Why do you do that? That's why, because we're trying to stay relevant and we understand that there's all this outside stimuli. So if that's the case, because those 3 customers that I back in the day, how you build a really successful business is by selling more of those three folks. And those 3 folks are people that you can crush it with. And now we know it's probably more like 1 or 2, right? Like, so if I need to, if that's the case, I need to bring the focus to selling those people instead of just anyone, right? Because again, given that gap of negative bias and all that, and all the things that I explained, just meeting expectations ain't good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough to build a great business. You have to crush it. You got to exceed expectations. This is the environment that we're in. So if we've got to exceed expectations, well, I have to build an ICP model. I got to build a business model around the people that I know I, as an individual, can crush it with, or from a leadership standpoint, our company can crush it with, and not just the people that can potentially buy our product. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Because a note to put down with that too is like, there's so much that goes back to this strategy. And I mean, we hit up our 20 minutes here, and there's so much that we can go deeper in. But the biggest component that I feel like, the companies, if they're struggling with this or thinking about doing this, obviously they need to just engage you. But it's not as, I guess when you broke it down with the way you did, it's not as linear. I see what you're saying. Like, there's a little bit of complexity to it. And obviously we have capabilities with AI that can help us to be able to do better at this. But I can quickly see how some people can say, I don't know who I'm going after. And the more you know me, the more your stuff can be relevant to me. Or the more you know me, the more you're able to be relevant to me. Again, you know that I'm a CEO. Great. You know that I'm a CEO that is trying to grow my organization, specifically in the North America, Western United States. That's a whole different thing. And if you know that I'm doing this because we're trying to get funding to get to the next level, then that's you can be way more relevant in your approach to me. But yeah, so it's a whole I love it.
To your point, Donald, like, that's again why I spend so much time on this part. Is it influences everything else that comes next.
For real.
So it makes it so when I'm prospecting, it makes prospecting way easier.
Yeah.
Because one, okay, I've started from this point of high alignment where I already know I crush it with these people. And the way that I do my outreach, the copy that I use in my outreach is way more targeted. It's way more specific. It speaks just to you, right? And when you're doing that, you'll be surprised. You won't, because you know this. You don't have to say very much.
No.
An acronym, a little piece of verbiage that is very specific to their job and the outcomes that they're interested in. And you know these things because you've delivered those outcomes for someone that's just like that, right? So it becomes far less vague, far more specific, and much simpler to execute.
100%. I love this, man. Listen, if folks out there want to get connected with you, a sales leader here or a sales rep is like saying, this was dope, I want to continue the dialogue, I need to get further guidance, I want to get those 37 questions, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
The best way is always going to be RonnellRichards.com, RONNELL just Google me. It's not hard. You could probably screw up my name. It's going to come up. But RonnellRichards.com. I would also encourage you guys. There's tons of great content out there. I'm dropping content every day, but you can also check out my online courses on the LinkedIn Learning platform, or on Sayless Academy, which is our LMS. And that's my passion. I love this. I love this work, Donald. And yeah, I just, it's something that it doesn't feel like work when I'm now. All the other stuff in running a business absolutely feels like work.
Dang, taxes, payroll.
Oh, let's not. Oh, don't. Okay, we're keeping this positive, bro.
Oh man, well, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, man. Appreciate you taking you're sharing your imparting your wisdom with us. Thank you for making it refreshing and helping us out to get on track, getting us strong.
It's truly my pleasure, man, and it's an honor to be on your platform. It is never lost on me. Anytime I get an invitation, yeah, it means the world that anyone would value whatever comes out of my mouth a little bit, to want to give me an opportunity to be in front of their audience. So I appreciate you even more. Thank you, brother.
Anytime, brother. I'm telling you, man, that was Mr. Ronnell Richards. Go ahead and connect with him on LinkedIn. Check out his information in the show notes. Follow him, because I promise you're going to get more information like this, insights that not only can help you as an individual contributor, whether you're a seasoned sales rep or you're a sales leader. Tons of great stuff. He also has LinkedIn courses that you could take advantage of. You've probably seen him there as well, but I'm telling you, he has a lot of good insights. One of his LinkedIn courses all around building sales strategy for building relationships. And I mean, simple, powerful insights. And I'm telling you, like, most of us skip over this stuff. But check out his courses, check out the stuff that he has to offer. You're not going to be disappointed. Listen, as always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to get to those right customers. I want you to be able to bring immense amount of value. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking, go out and do big things. See you on the next one.